Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me for today's presentation. There's a bit of a lag with my video, I apologize. We're going to discuss assessment and generative AI, which is, of course, a very important topic at the moment in education. So let me get started. The title of my presentation is Secondary Subject English and the Swift Development of Generative AI, Gen AI, challenging how reporting and assessment will have to laterally transform. There you can see the title there. Okay. What is Gen AI? I have a quote there. But the important thing about this quote by Singh 2025, page 1, is that he intimates that Gen AI is growing in ability and will undergo faster and more accurate algorithmic intelligence abilities. However, not all types of generative AI are the same. The one in particular that we'll be looking at today and concerns us mostly as English teachers is called the large language model. This type of generative AI will largely impact the heretofore special and unique human abilities of reading, writing, contributing to the advancement of literary form, researching, critical thinking. These things are called large language models. ChatGPT is the best known example of an LLM. They have a substantial impact overall, partly because they are the most useful and therefore the most popular online. And overall, they utilize human language as opposed to maths or programming code. So yeah, they're by far the most widely used. Okay. Just to jump to some issues that, two particular issues that I see with assessment and Gen AI. I've titled this two foreseeable and current negative links between assessments and the introduction of LLMs. Number one being the risk of underdevelopment through lack of practice on emergent literacy skills. Okay. So at least two studies can be put forward which propose that students who use AI frequently for doing schoolwork noticeably underperform when the tech is not available to them. This should be a cautionary message that AI can be used in the classroom, but there must be time and other constraints on its usage. At this point in time, this is strictly pragmatic. Students will have to go without their phone, laptop, or tablet at certain times during an English class. A security box for the storage of class devices may be necessary. The second main issue that I've identified after the underdevelopment of literary skills is the risk to academic integrity and ethics of honesty. One does not improve their English by practicing less writing and less reading. Independent writing skills will be reduced just by lack of practice itself. Students need to develop their own writing abilities based on the creative identity that they find through the process and practice of completing the curriculum. Gen AI will reduce the voice of creativity in the classroom. Some people might say hysterically. However, literature reviews and research, essay planning, even poetry, all the many foundational English language skills are now capable of completion by LLMs in just seconds. The temptation to use this unethically will be too great for some. And with increased computing power, the fine line will blur more and more. Just to introduce some strategies to utilizing or approaching Gen AI in the English classroom. I can say this. There is one strategy, which is to increase the use of digital screening apps like Turnitin, which we already use at Curtin. It's effective at detecting when passages appear to have been constructed by AI. There are limits to the technology, though it continues to improve. Turnitin gives you a percentage of similarity to other work on the internet. The higher the percentage, the less chance that the student's similar writing is the product of mere coincidence. More and more of these screening apps will appear due to market demand. I put a couple on the screen there. Okay. Now let's look at the strategy, the second strategy of process-oriented assessment. The arrival of AI happened rather quickly in the educational setting, only in the last 2 or 3 years. It is a matter still being dealt with, especially with regard to how to go about assessment. One of the directions being undertaken is called process-oriented assessment. For example, teachers may monitor the development of students' work at different stages in the chronology of completing the task, asking for a report/essay plan to be submitted, then later that week, asking to see the contents page and the student resources and so forth. So we're evaluating from the continuity of the construction of the student's work. To give the teacher a much clearer understanding of how the final product will read. And there is also an advantage for the student in getting ongoing feedback. So that's a highly rated strategy, I think, for approaching assessments. Okay, the next strategy I've called the pragmatic approach. The balancing and harmonization of Gen AI technology and traditional assessment tools will become the ultimate approach because for human beings, their key trait is adaptability. So when it bequeaths teachers and students to produce work and have it assessed with AI, they will do so. And when AI cannot be incorporated in the task or assessment, so it will not. The difference is you now have a much broader menu of options to choose from and a broader menu of things to not include, which will impact lesson planning because incorporating AI is often complicated, even vexatious for some Luddites. It will place more demands on the time of the teacher, definitely, but maybe even the students too. The other key question is whether what appears inevitable is truly in our best interest and is truly inevitable. The corporate world and the capital building up around AI will create a powerful AI lobby group, which will always see education as a fertile hunting ground. So like it or not, I think AI will be prominent in the education sector. Now, going to the section where I've evaluated some of the existing tasks on the West Australian Curriculum website. I've called this evaluation and redesign of existing assessment tasks. And we'll go to the example one, which is reading.